Hello everybody, it's Lazel here with another video. Today it ain't about an event gameplay, today it ain't about me, today it is about one of you guys, because this is the first episode of Pimp My Castle. I find this idea very interesting. One of you guys has reached out to me over my email address, which you can find in my channel information, and he was like, can you help me with my castle? I'd like to hear your thoughts on it. And so we had a little chat about it. It was a very constructive chat. And today we want to start the series, or I want to start the series by talking about his castle, posting some screenshots and giving out my ideas. So how did I approach it? I first sent him 3 questions, which in my opinion are very relevant when you want to rate a castle or give out some recommendations, because this is always about an individual person. You cannot say, hey, this is the baseline for this person, this is the baseline for this behavior, and so on and so on. Every castle is individual. The first question that I asked the subscriber is, which troop combination do you want to focus? And I found his response very interesting, because he is currently an infantry mage player, but that is also because of the fact that he is, I think, like 43 days old with his castle, and he's already C30, which is great. This is one of the recommendations that I gave out in a lot of my videos, and he went for it, and he did it so he can unlock the Azeroth mine pretty quickly and start gathering Azeroth while he's catching up with all of the other buildings. I think that's great. So he is an infantry mage player, and due to my recommendation, he would probably adjust to a certain troop combination. Then, with my second question, I asked him about his monthly budget for this game. It is simply the fact that if you spend money in this game, you can have a different approach as if you are a free-to-play player. He has a budget of $200 to $300 a month, and that is totally fine. Third question is, what is his preferred playstyle? And there I do have to say he prefers to play with the team, but what else can he do currently? Because, he is 43 days old with his castle, maybe a few days more when this video came out. And in these early stages of the game, you most likely always play with the team. So I will try to leave this one a bit out, because he will probably still find his way and his favorite troop composition depending on how his future playstyle adjusts when he is strong enough to go for a solo attack, for an SOS, and so on and so on. But let's start off with the first question. Which troop combination would I recommend? And with a monthly budget of $200 to $300, I would recommend to go for cavalry, archers, and angels. It is a very powerful combination. You can compensate a lot of rewards that players with, let's say, like cavalry mages would just simply get easier than you, because the army formation will always put mages to the outside, and cavalry mage players will always have the advantage of having their main damage unit on the outside, for example in the Undead King or in the Evil Tyrant, Fiend Trial, whatever, and you can compensate that a bit with your budget. So I personally would recommend, if you have a budget, go for cavalry, archers, and angels. I think this combination is very powerful, but it, in the best case, has some money support. This is my opinion about it. Let me know down in the comments below if you think in a different way. I'm not saying that cavalry, angels, mages is weaker or something like that. I just think that cavalry, archers, and angels perform better when they have a bit of support. All right. So let's jump into the screenshots that he sent me and let's talk about it. Let's start off with his beast. His beast is currently the dragon. It's still growing. It is still a very young dragon. It is currently level 15, but it will still grow. And then we do have to check out his skills. I do like the fact that he has the attack expert as currently highest skill with level 12. I think this is also a skill that will probably stay in his skill inventory and will be upgraded way more. About the life source, I can definitely recommend wait with this skill. It looks attractive, but from my current perspective of the game, I'd personally say maybe wait out with that skill, because you will probably replace it by one of the damage increased against angels or reduced damage taken from angels, depending on how your technology development goes. So I'm not a big fan of the life source skill anymore. I'm also considering to replace it at the moment because I'm not happy with how it is performing. I think that some damage technology would help me out even more, because the game has added so many events where we are constantly fighting, and these other events, like let's say like Undead King, they are kind of falling back a bit, and the rewards aren't that great anymore. And the older the kingdom gets, the more stronger players will be merged into your kingdom, and you will naturally drop in ranking as a free-to-play player from my perspective. So I think that for him, as a player with a certain budget, other skills would be better. Especially because he has such a young castle, I think it is interesting that we can talk about the level up booster and the Viger Star. These are skills that I personally would focus a bit more with your future pet skill EXP, especially the Viger Star. You are still very young with your castle, you can profit from it the earlier you invest into it, just as with the level up booster. You will get great benefits from that, and that will help you out. So keep an eye on these two skills. Maybe let the attack expert and life source sit for now and invest more into the level up booster and the Viger Star. From the other skills, most of them are level 1. You might be gathering a bit, so then I can say Force Expansion is a great skill. You can add that to your skill inventory that you will be also equipping to your pet. Great one. And Recruitment Speed Up. It's simply with the Viger Star and with the level up booster, the earlier you upgrade it, the better for you, because you will get more troops from now on, and that will definitely add up over time. Skills like the quick heal, wounded limit, and so on, just skip them. You won't need them, in my opinion, if you are wisely playing and not simply always speed healing everything that you have. Maybe do heal in some batches and so on and so on. So that is totally fine to leave them at 1 and use them to upgrade other skills. Skills that I'd be focusing right now if I were you is the Recruitment Speed Up, the Viger Star, the Level Up Booster, Attack Expert, Force Expansion. And from time to time you will find out, or from the time on you will find out, okay, I have this one weakness, I'm not dealing enough damage against infantry, for example, or against cavalry, for example. I have this technology bonus very low in my whole technology. So then you will find out, okay, I will go for damage increased against cavalry or against infantry as an additional beast skill. About your beast itself, I do like to see a dragon in here. Maybe you will adjust to it, and it is something that I can kind of recommend. Because if you have a budget, you can afford to play with the Phoenix, for example. You are a very young player, you are still growing and still finding your playstyle if you probably want to go for being a solo player or for being a team player. And in both scenarios, the Phoenix is simply great. Why? Because of its passive skill, because of the rebirth skill. It increases the attack of angels by a certain percent. Of course, technology gets averaged in team attacks, but if you ever find out, okay, I really want to go for some great SOS and maybe also some solo plays, then the Phoenix is, in my opinion, from the current state of the game, a bit better, because it also buffs your angels passively, and you will always bring it to a to a solo attack, and that will definitely help you out. Dragon ain't a bad beast, definitely, especially since with the beast talent skills there are some interesting skills. The dragon has this buff to increase the critical strike chance of other units that you have, while the Phoenix has this one skill, the flame shield I believe it's called, that can also help you out in certain scenarios. So both beasts have great skills, but due to the fact that you have a budget, maybe go for the Phoenix, support it a bit with getting some feathers and leveling up its passive skill. It can be very helpful. And against beasts like the Panda or against the Pegasus, you will always kill those pets with your passive skill. Not with your passive skill, but with your second skill, because it always targets your backline or the opponent's backline to deal a lot of damage. And with that will always kill the opponent's beasts, which is also helpful when those cannot activate their buffs anymore. So this about the beast. Now we jump into the next thing. The next screenshot I got was the artifact array of Raxy. So far, not that many artifacts are very far developed, which is very good. You're saving yourself a lot of artifact EXP, that is great. And when you are having a budget, you will probably find a way to go for several legendary artifacts. Like, let's say you currently have the Excalibur, and it will be an artifact that will stay in your array, in my opinion, because 200 to 300 is a lot. It's a big budget, in my opinion, but the Excalibur is still a free artifact that grows over time. So I personally keep that in your array. That you have the Gusli artifact is also great, because this will probably be the only purple artifact that you will have in your array. And I see the reason why you have the Bryonic. Currently you are an infantry mage player, and this artifact is great for this troop composition. In the long run, you will probably go for, or in addition to that, you will go for the golden armor, as it is just great for cavalry players. It gives a lot of defense aspects to your troop composition. And when you are then growing and growing, you will probably also add the Heavenly Spear, as it helps out your archers a lot. And it is also great because it increases the damage against cavalry, which is a unit that we all face more and more often. So also a great addition for your array. And last but not least, I personally would add the Apollo's Bow. The Apollo's Bow is an artifact that also increases damage against cavalry, so you will already have a lot of damage increased against cavalry, which is very helpful because, as I've just said, we are facing cavalry more and more often. The Apollo's Bow would probably also be the artifact that you will heavily focus with your Stardust, or however the resource is called, to develop its skill even further, as the skill of the Apollo's Bow is just very strong. It adds additional critical hits, an additional critical hit chance to your auto attacks. So I personally see your final array being Excalibur, Gusli, Golden Armor, Heavenly Spear, and Apollo's Bow, if you follow my recommendation to go for cavalry, angels, and archers. And that saying about artifacts, remember what I have said in one of my latest videos where I talked about the artifact check of the Cortana. Check that video out. Don't immediately reset all of your other artifacts, because you will need them for your totems to unlock additional skills that are just great when you start off with an artifact and then you wanna, okay, maybe put that artifact out of your array. You can still keep it to put it into one of the slots for the other for one of your totems to unlock the additional growth skills, for example. All right, saying that about your artifacts, now we will jump to the next aspect in your castle, and these are the zodiacs. As expected from such a young castle, all of them are still white, and we can check out which zodiacs will be very interesting for you. Especially for a growing castle and a castle that will work on cavalry, I think that the Arius is straight up the best zodiac that you can work on. Cavalry attack, angel attack, very powerful for you. Cavalry HP, damage reduction for cavalry. These are complete must-haves if you are a cavalry player. Another zodiac that I find very interesting, because you don't fully want to commit to cavalry and angels, is also the Sagittarius. Archer attack, archer HP, archer damage is the most important thing on here. Also great for you. In addition to that, I personally think that the Libra is a great artifact, simply because it has archer attack and cavalry HP, and reduced damage taken from angels is also a great thing. And due to the fact that you're still a growing castle that will start recruiting a lot of angels over the next few months and years, the angel recruitment speed is just very helpful for you, as you will be recruiting a lot of angels, and the earlier you get this zodiac going, the faster you will get your angels over the long run. These are the 3 zodiacs that I prioritize if I were you. All right, next aspect, Colossus. Well, not much to say about that. What I personally see from your Colossus that you have currently equipped, you definitely understood what is important about the Colossus. Your Colossus is currently level 27, if I see that correctly, yes. And you have realized which stats are important. Maybe put a bit more of the base stats into reduced damage taken from archers and from mages, but overall the direction is definitely correct. Always focus the main damage units that can deal damage to your frontline and reduce the damage of those units by going for, as example, reduced damage from archers or reduced damage from mages. And the base stats are relevant as infantry defense and infantry HP. You can take this Colossus and later put it onto your cavalry Colossus and it will be working out, it will be great. So definitely well done here. Next aspect, we will take a look into your gear parts. And when I saw this on the first look, I think it is already pretty solid in my opinion. We do have to talk a bit about enhancements and what to go for in general when you are still a growing castle. You just got to C30, you already have the Holy Blessing, you have the Crown of Praise, and I think, yeah, that's it about level 30 gear. This is now the part that will probably consume a lot of your time, simply because you will now gamble orange gear. My recommendation is always remember that the Dragon Scale build is probably the best gear part that you can get as a C30 castle in orange quality first, because you will have a long time profit of this one and it is a great one to focus. About other gear parts which you wanna work on will be on C30, will be the Dusk Ode. This will be your weapon. You will probably need to forge another belt, as I do only see one belt in here, so you will need to forge some additional gear parts. Do it as I said in my how I forged my orange gear video. Go for blue gear parts until level 25, and from then on you will just gamble for the level 30 gear parts. From the belts, Dragon Scale belt should be the highest priority here in my opinion. Then you will gamble for a Blessing belt on C30. And from the other gear parts, the Dark Lord Guard is simply great for you, especially in orange quality, as it is your farming necklace and it is your fighting necklace for the start. Although I do have to say, with higher gear parts, for example the Perfect Heart will be your final goal, you will need a backup Dark Lord Guard simply for the stamina recovery. But overall, Dark Lord Guard is a great start for you as a C30. Once you have this, you can first prioritize all of your other gear parts, and from then on, when you have the time and you have done all of the other gear parts, you can come back to this one, forge an additional one and profit from it. All right, then we come to the helmet. On C30 you can already go for the Templar Crown. It's a great one because it gives you double cavalry HP, recruitment speed up and army size limit. It's a great one for starters when they go with cavalry as a frontline unit, and you are doing nothing wrong with that, and from then on you will definitely see which helmets you want to go for. With the clothes, it is, yeah, the Armor of Hymns is going to be your chest for the whole time. You won't need another chest. Maybe you will make another Templar armor at some point for the additional recruitment speed up, but Armor of Hymns will be your chest part because of cavalry defense and stamina recovery. From then on you will develop it to the Celestial armor and then into the Guardian breastplate, and that's all a cavalry player needs. As I've said, Templar armor maybe for the additional recruitment speed up, but this can fall behind in the beginning as this gear part will only be for your additional recruitment speed up. Boots also great for cavalry and archer players because here you will need 2 pairs of boots. Once you will need the Sacred boots for the stamina recovery and the Dusk boots for the additional cavalry and archer attack. So you have fighting and farming boots here. And overall, then you will see what you will upgrade next. The Monarch boots are great for cavalry and then followed up by the Guardian boots for also additional cavalry attack and cavalry HP. But this will be in the long run, as we are talking about C40 already. From the enhancements, let's take a quick look. One, your Holy Blessing, you already have damage increased when attacking. Great one. Keep it. This will be gambled into the Dark Lord Guard in orange quality. You will have your fighting accessory there. Then we also have the Heart of Carlos. This is currently your weapon with mage attack. Not bad for your situation. You've said you are an infantry mage player. That's definitely fine. But you will also re-gamble this one when you're going for the Dusk Ode. And then you will probably look for archer attack, in my opinion, as you will not fully commit to angels. You will also play with archers. Or you will go for something like damage increased against infantry, which can be very helpful as a lot of your artifacts will have damage increased against cavalry. With the blood belt, this can be your dragon scale belt or your blessing belt. About the enhancement, damage increased against cavalry, not bad, don't get me wrong on that, but as I've just said, a lot of your artifacts will have damage increased against cavalry. Maybe re-gamble it probably to damage increased when attacking. This is always my to go for recommendation when it comes to belt and accessory enhancements. So then we come to the blood boots. Yeah, building speed, this definitely needs to go. This has to become damage taken reduced when attacking, or with your farming boots. It's probably nothing on your farming boots, but for your fighting boots, go for damage taken reduced when attacking. Crown of Praise. Here you can go for one of the things like, let's say, like cavalry HP, or you can go for damage taken reduced from angels, mages, archers. This will be, or this might be mages or angels as you want. Oh, you have golden armor and you will have Gusli, so 2 artifacts for reduced damage taken from mages, and then you can maybe mix this one up here with reduced damage taken from archers or from angels. You will see over time where you are lacking, and you will adjust to that. Lastly, coming to your armor, the blood armor, reduced damage taken from cavalry. I do get this point, but I would also focus like the main damage units from your opponents, which will probably be mages, archers or angels. That's about your gear. This will be a very long process in my opinion for you, and probably the most mind grinding, as it will probably take a few tries to gamble correctly and so on and so on. But this is for all of us the same process. And you will go through this. So far it looks pretty good. You have some fitting enhancements, and now you just have to gamble for the orange gear, and then you're good to go. Last but not least, you also sent me a few screenshots of your technology done in your college. I won't say much about that in here, as I simply say, okay, it will all be finished at some point anyways. Just do the most important research for your focus troop combination, which I just recommended would probably be, or in my opinion, if I would play with such a budget, it will probably cavalry, archers and angels, and then you are good to go. All right, so this is actually it about the first episode of Pimp My Castle. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have any thoughts about the questions that I've asked, and if you would go for a different direction, let us know down in the comments below. This is a learning process for all of us, but I find it very cool to start a series. If you are interested in being featured on the Pimp My Castle series also, just hit me up over my contact address in my channel information and we can work something out. I will probably ask you the same questions and then we will see how it goes. Overall, I really enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed it, and then I would say see you in the next one. Goodbye, guys.